Okay, YouTubers, this is the Angryprepper. So today's episode, we're going to talk about BLM threatening New York City. Now, BLM's threatening New York City because Eric Adams, who is the newly elected mayor of New York City, had made a promise to reinstate the anti-crime unit or anti-crime unit that NYPD runs here in New York City. The anti-crime, a lot of those guys, they rolled around in unmarked cars and they stayed low-key until some shit popped off, and then there they were in your face. A lot of the times you wouldn't see them coming until they were there, and a lot of the times you can see them because obviously two white guys in the middle of Harlem or Bed-Stuy somewhere, you're like, those are cops. But nonetheless, they got a lot of the hard shit done, and they got a lot of the criminals off the street. I mean, a lot. So now, DeBlasio, not now, but DeBlasio then disbanded them because of the whole George Floyd bullshit. Now Eric Adams is going back into office. He wants to reinstate them. Now keep in mind, Eric Adams was a cop, an NYPD cop back in the days. So he was here in New York City during the fucking crack wave and the high crime, and he's been through this city, I would say 2 decades or almost 3 decades as a cop. So he's seen the transformation. He's seen it go from bad to good, back to bad again. Now, keep in mind, he wasn't a cop when it was going bad again, but he was paying attention. He still has friends on the police force, so they're keeping him in tune to what's going on. So now, one of his promises was to get the anti-crime unit back up and running. BLM is turning around and saying, well, if you do that, we are going to start fires, riots, and bloodshed. Those are the 3 promises that the BLM New York chapter made, who was run by Hank Newsome, right? Hawk Newsome. This asshole here, right? So this piece of shit is now threatening violence. That is the very definition of terrorism. When you threaten violence because some shit that's going down that you don't like, you want to respond to violence. Now, there's a lot of things that warrant violence, but this is not it. But yet, this asshole is making these threats, and obviously it's going to go unchecked. People are pointing out the fact that he's making these threats, but nothing's going to happen. So unfortunately, this asshole is going to have to get a beating of some kind. I mean, I don't know what kind of beating that needs to be, but definitely some bones need to be broken because this piece of shit is going to threaten more violence. That's a problem because we saw what happened back in July of last year, and we saw the mayhem that broke out nationwide over a criminal who was killed by a cop, right? Essentially killed by a cop. And I say essentially because obviously there were a lot of other things going on why George Floyd died. I don't want to get into it. If you guys want to get into it, go back to my older videos on the Angryprepper channel. Down below, you'll see a couple of George Floyd videos I did, and you could pick at that if you want. But I'm not going to get into it here. So we saw America burn pretty much last year. And nobody was appalled. Well, not nobody, but a lot of people were not appalled. They were like, that's the voice of the unheard, and they need to be heard, so they have to make trouble, cause violence, and all this other bullshit. That was all of like spring and the summer of last year. January 6th happened, and America fell apart. People were like, oh my God, the darkest day in American history. A bunch of white dudes attacked the Capitol, and it became a fucking shit show because of what, maybe 4 or 5 people that died, picking and choosing what they want to, what storyline or what narrative they want to go with. This is what it's always been about. So this asshole's going to sit there and say, well, we're going to start violence, and this is what it's going to be. Now, in case his empty threats turn out to be something real, you guys have to keep abreast of what's going on in the city. Part of prepping is knowing what environment you're going into and how bad that environment's going to be. Now, New York City's already been turning to shit because of DeBlasio, that piece of shit, right? That guy tomorrow can get testicular cancer, and I will have a testicular cancer party for that piece of shit. That's how bad I fucking hate DeBlasio. I don't want to get into it because it's going to start another rant. Anyway, with the city already falling apart, you need to know that, all right, New York City is now currently, the crime's higher. And there's certain areas I need to stay out of New York City, right? Especially if you're visiting. But now you have a guy threatening riots and all this other bullshit, fires and bloodshed. You got to know, okay, is this a possibility of happening? Yes, because we watched what happened last year. I don't think much is going to happen with that threat, but stranger things have happened. And people will also seize the opportunity to go, you know what? I need some new Ugg boots and I need some new Sonos speakers. So let's get a band of dudes together and riot as soon as BLM says let's riot. There's also that. There's also opportunists waiting in the shadows, waiting for the next reason to fucking riot. Because these people didn't riot for George Floyd. They rioted because they wanted free shit, right? So now BLM making this promise, all the antennas went up for those who are looking to be opportunists and going, all right, we got some new shit coming our way come next January, February, whenever they decide to do it. But with that, guys, you have to stay attuned to what's going on. So if you're coming to the city, if you're in and out of the city, just keep in mind that this asshole made this threat and that this threat is a possibility. Though I think it's small, nonetheless, it's still a possibility. So keep in tune to what's going on, all I'm saying. And know that, you know, with crime being high and the anti-crime unit being, you know, reinstated again, there could be riots. Could be. Now, if anti-crime gets back on the streets, we'll probably see significant crime drop for the in the near future. Let's just say he gets into office and that's the first thing he does. I'm going to say 3-4 months, maybe 6, you'll see crime drop dramatically. Because these guys, they get shit done. And unfortunately, they get shit done the hard way. And people don't like that. And I like that shit. If I was a cop, I would be all about anti-crime. Cracking skulls and locking motherfuckers up. I mean, like, that's what if I was a cop, I would have been doing. But in this day and age, they won't take cops, you know, with my attitude. Let's put it like that. Because I am a fireman and I love breaking shit. So that breaking shit would apply to, you know, breaking people who are acting like assholes. But anyway, neither here or there. Just keep in tune to what's going on, guys. Just look at the newspaper every day. I don't suggest following this guy, but follow the temperament of the city and what they also think about BLM Hawk Newsome's threat. Some people are down with him, like, yes, he's right, we should riot. And other people are like, yo, enough already with the rioting, right? There is fracturing in the BLM community, which is sort of good, because that's showing you that there are some responsible people in that group that don't subscribe to the rioting and the bloodshed and the fires. So that's a good thing. So we just have to see where this goes come next year. All right, guys, so this is the Angryprepper. Thank you for watching. You can like and subscribe to this channel. You can also follow me on the Angry Truth channel and the Angry Lensman channel. That's my photography channel. I will be getting up starting December 1st. I gave myself a deadline so that I can start the channel up and running on the right foot. All right, guys, other than that, thank you for watching.